Welcome back, folks, to It's About Your Paycheck. We're excited. There's a brand new show for us, and we're super excited to deliver, man. How you doing today, Walt?
Doing good, excited. And like I said, it's an additional show. I think we're focused more on the employee and
Yes.
how to, again, we keep going back to that word empower, how
Yep.
to empower the employee, right? You know,
Absolutely. And not only the W-2 employee, we will touch on some 1099 folks. We haven't yet. It'll come. It's 1099 is a little easier to digest and go. It might just be one episode, but we're gonna do the research. We're gonna prepare for it, and we'll make sure we cover 1099 folks as well. So if you're 1099, it's not only about your paycheck, it's about your invoice, right? And it's about your check that you get from that. So don't be afraid, don't shy away from the show. We're gonna cover some things for you.
whatever walk of life, this is for you. Trust
Yeah, oh
me.
heck yeah. Heck yeah. You kidding me?
Anything's to your point, to piggyback on what you said, anything that's concerning the employee, 1099, well, no matter what type of employee you are, this is for you. Trust
That's
me.
right. Thank you. Perfect. So today we want this to be in digestible nuggets. We're just gonna cover what is involved in calculating your gross pay. That big number. And what's the joke? Oh, what's gross is what I take home, and what's gross is the net.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover take home pay on another show.
Yes.
We're just covering gross pay because just basics, just fundamentals. Let's start at the beginning, and we're gonna end somewhere 10 years from now at the end. You know what I'm saying? Um, so again, here's the best way to calculate your earnings and some helpful tips involved. I'll start us off with the first two, and then you send with that last one. Okay.
Go ahead.
The first one is really basic, right? Gross calculation, but the complexity comes where if you're salaried employee or an hourly employee. An hourly means, right, you're clocking in and clocking out, and they pay you according to those hours. You're overtime eligible, and that's an hourly employee. Salaried employee, you may still have to clock in and out, but your pay is not driven on your hours worked. It's predetermined, right? Usually get an offer letter in the beginning or some type of documentation of saying, hey, here's what we're going to pay you for this job on an annual basis. And then you divide that number to get your salary, right? So
Yeah.
those are the differences. An hourly rate, hourly wage, or a salaried rate, which is usually based on annual and hourly.
Yeah.
Both should be on your offer letter and then some documentation after from within your company. Did you want to say something?
Yes.
Well,
No,
okay.
great call out on that. And just for the folks that are out there that may be salaried, non-exempt, we'll cover that
Thank
later
you.
on. We'll
Yep.
cover that later on down the road because there are
Yep.
some examples of that, and
Yep.
there are fewer examples of that than normal salary exempt people. But we will
Yes.
cover that, right? So I just wanted to
Absolutely.
piggyback on that, and because Brian knows that he just didn't mention it because this is a
Yep.
simplified explanation of what he's trying to say. Okay.
Absolutely. So then to calculate your gross for the hourly workers, you simply get the hours you worked in any given pay period and you multiply it times your hourly rate,
Yes.
right? So usually let's say it's 2 weeks or 1 week, so it's 40 hours or 80 hours times $25 an hour gives you your
Mhm.
gross amount of pay. For
Mhm.
salaried folk, again, it's based on that annual, and you need to understand how many times you get paid in a year. And that's a simple question to your payroll folk. You will not get in trouble by asking. If you're starting a job, you ask right out the gate, hey, what's the right? That's usually what you're gonna ask anyway. If you're starting a job, like how many times do I get paid? Is it biweekly? Is it 7 month? Those are the two most common. Weekly and monthly doesn't really exist in the US anymore, but it does exist in the UK. So in the US, we're really bi-weekly, semi-monthly. Some folks are weekly. And in the UK, monthly is also an added frequency.
Yeah.
And you would take your annual and divide it by however many times you got paid. Sorry, Walt. There you go.
No, you're good. You're good. And just to touch a little bit more on that, daily pay is starting to come out there. So some of
Oof.
you may be doing
So wait a
that.
minute. What do you mean by daily pay? Meaning I can pull my wages daily or a daily
Yes.
rate?
Folks, we live in a crazy world, and with each new headline, it is harder and harder to find the signal through the noise and understand if that annoying wannabe keyboard warrior in your office is actually a national security expert or just blowing smoke. Do you want to know the truth? Well, come join us on the At the Water's Edge podcast, hosted by retired Green Beret turned geopolitical analyst Scott Kelly, where we explore insights beyond the headlines to take a practitioner's view on national security and geopolitics. Join us at the At the Water's Edge podcast.
I don't mean daily rate. There's a difference.
Gotcha.
I didn't mean
Yep,
daily
that's
rate.
why I
Good
asked. No,
question.
that's why I asked.
Good question.
Yep.
So what I meant is that you have access to your pay
Right.
whether you're salaried or hourly each and every day. So that means I can pay myself. I can go through and there's systems that allow you to pay yourself after you clock out for the day, and you
Yep.
can get paid for that day.
Yeah. So let's circle back to that because I think we can do a whole show on best practices for that, because I don't know if everybody knows how that's going to work, and they think, oh, I can, because they have to allow a certain amount of hours to pass before they can actually go get that access to that daily pay. And I'll drop another little thing, and it's just a teaser because you guys are going to want to talk about this. The other teaser is you're borrowing against your end of the week pay. So there's a chance that you could actually eat up most of your pay before you get paid. So you got to keep those things in. Those are the two big call outs, but there's more. So that's a great idea for another show. I'm getting so excited, folks. All right. And then the next ones are Walt's. He's going to walk us through some other things that impact this calculation, right? So again, I just covered the hourly calc and the salary calc.
So one of the other things to really consider is, especially if you're hourly, is overtime, right? It is for hourly employees, you must account for those hours worked because overtime hours are paid at an increased rate. And typically that is time and a half. So when we say time and a half, 1.5 times your hourly rate. So that will equal what you get paid for your overtime for each hour that you work that's over, or each minute, really, because it's really not hours. It could be minutes that you over 40 in a week.
Over 40, yep.
Or, and depending on where your location is, you might be in California, so it might be over 8 hours in a day or something like that. Could be different, so you want to know that, right? And so for both hourly and salary employees, you want to make sure that any performance-based incentives or bonuses that may be paid to you, you want to look at that as well, because there's a difference between, and we'll get into this later, right? There's a difference between a net to gross payout of $500 bonus, or, I'm paying you a $500 gross bonus, right?
Yes.
So there's some understanding in that, and we may touch on that later, but that's a little bit more complex. This is really to try to tell you how to calculate and understand what your gross pay is. One of the key things up here that Brian touched on, no matter if you're salaried or hourly, it is knowing your rate.
Yes.
That is essential. That helps you so much, because think about it. If I'm under the impression that my rate is $12 an hour, but my rate in the system is $10 an hour, and it's not lining up, and I may not understand it. Like, hey, what's going on? I thought I was supposed to be at this rate. And there may be something like, hey, I could be, if I'm a 10-month employee, which happens in certain industries, right?
Education.
But certain industries, my rate may be different. So there's different things that you have to consider and educate yourself on, or reach out to a professional to help you understand how exactly your rate works, right? And how your hourly wage or your salary rate is calculated. Perfect segue. And Brian touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's really a step on how to calculate your pay. For hourly employees, basically what Brian said is to multiply your hourly wage by the number of hours worked in a pay period. This is just piggybacking on what Brian said earlier. For salaried employees, divide your annual salary by the number of pay periods in a year. So that could be 12 if you get paid monthly, that's 12. If you get paid bi-weekly, that's 26. If you get paid semi-monthly or bi-monthly, that's 24. So it's good for you to not only understand what your rate or your wage is per hour or per pay, it's also good to understand how your pay period works. It all factors in to calculating a correct gross for yourself.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to these extra tips that we have here. You want to start off with the first couple of them?
Yeah, for sure. First one is keep in mind that your gross pay is not the same as your take-home pay. I know, and that's the joke I mentioned. Hey, oh, what's gross is what I take home. Yes, it is. It is gross. And we will talk about that in another episode on the things that come out of your check. So that it's not the same. We're just talking that first number. We have not taken anything away yet. We have not taken taxes away yet. We have not taken your health benefit deductions away yet. And that is how you get to your net pay. So we keep in mind, gross is always different than net. And it should always be different than net if you're a W-2 employee. If it's not, that's a red flag.
Finding a great career has always been a challenge. But today, with the massive changes underway in just about every sector of the economy, in just about every country in the world, finding a great new career is even more challenging. And if you're a student, recent graduate, or someone else early in their career, it's even harder for you because you just don't have the experience that those who might be 10, 20, 30 years older than you have. The answer? The podcast. From dorms to desks. A podcast by College Recruiter job search site, where every week we take a deep dive into a topic specifically of interest to candidates who are early in their careers and looking for a great part-time, seasonal, internship, or other entry-level job.
Next one is use an online pay. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. If you have trouble, if you're like, what are y'all talking about, man? Go Google paycheck calculator. And there's a ton of them. They're free. Usually a payroll place has them for you for free, whatever. We'll find a good link for you too that we'll have eventually. We're working on our own for y'all so that it's unbiased and you don't have to be like, ooh, and use it. And that the net ones, that's a little tricky to get to a net pay from an online pay calculator because you really need your details. Yeah, yes. You need the details, right? We'll tell you how to do that one too when we talk about net pay. But for gross pay, you can use the pay calculator, and where it says gross, you punch in your hours, you punch in your rates, or whatever have you, and you get a gross. And you can do it on a calculator too, folks. You can do it on spreadsheet, you can do it on a calculator. But online payroll tools are really cool when we're talking paycheck, because we can mimic. You can get to a place where you're like, oh, this is okay. I understand now. This next one I love, and I tell people all the time, my whole career, always review your pay stub, aka pay slip, for accuracy. In episode 1, we were just talking about how I had a person. Oh no, sorry folks, it was a different episode. We do a bunch of shows. But anywho, I was just talking about how an employee, real life employee, and it always happens W-2 time, right? We get our W-2s and we're like, well, what's this? He paid to a different state for the whole year. He lived across the country, nowhere near this state, no possible confusion, right? For a whole year until he realized, oh crap, I don't live there. You know what I mean? So we got a refund from it, but it takes time. He had to wait months for that refund because he didn't realize the error in real time. If you see an error the first time in your paycheck, believe me, that is the moment you fix it. That is the moment and your payroll person will appreciate that you told them immediately, like, hey, this is wrong. Because the longer it drags on, the harder it is and the more complicated it is for everyone involved. So what's a simple best practice? Look at your pay stubs.
And if you have questions and you don't know, one of the key points that Brian said in the first one, consult with your company's
Yes.
HR/payroll department for assistance.
Absolutely.
Basically, in layman's terms, check with the pros.
Yeah, we're,
They will let you know.
I'll do one more. And yes, I'll do one more and then you can take the rest.
Sir.
Verify that all hours worked and additional payments are correctly reflected. Again, just check your pay stub. Did you work all the hours that it says? And maybe there was an additional payment. Like Walt mentioned earlier, there could be an incentive bonus or something extra that was there that, for whatever reason, is extra. It goes above and beyond your normal base pay. It's extra. Make sure it's in there, right? And you're not. There should be complete transparency on your pay stub. If there's something that you don't understand, you should be able to comfortably, safely call your payroll folk and say, hey, what's this code that I got? I see, and even if it looks right, yep, I was supposed to get the 500, but I was supposed to get it for an education stipend, and this says bonus. Is that right? Call them
Yes.
out because, hey, guess what? You can get taxed at a different rate on a bonus than you do on an education, right? We'll talk about that in another show.
Yeah.
But there's different applications of things, and it should be right. You want accurate reporting. You want an accurate pay slip, like Walt just said. The pay slip it has to be, and that could be it. The money's right, but the coding of it might not be, and it could have a monetary impact on the check.
There could be implications.
Yeah.
Great points.
Yeah.
Great points.
Yeah. All right. Take us
Correct.
through the rest there.
If your hourly wage or salary changes, adjust your calculations accordingly. So basically,
Yep.
If you just received a promotion or there was a general increase at your company, take that into consideration. Don't keep calculating your pay at the wrong rate. You could do yourself a disservice as well, because you could, if something was submitted for you by your manager and it wasn't processed for whatever reason, and you're just going through the flow and not checking anything like that, you could be missing out on some much deserved pay that is rightfully yours if you don't adjust the calculations, right? So that's something to really understand. This next one, it really doesn't impact gross pay, but it's still a good tip. Be mindful of any changes in your deductions or benefits that may impact your pay. That's a good one. That's something probably for a later episode to think about, but it's on here. There are several payroll apps and online calculators available that can simplify the process to you. So this is piggybacking on what Brian said earlier, right? There are things that are out there. There are things that we have or we're going to have that are going to help you and assist you in calculating your pay. These tools can be a little bit difficult to use. So if you need assistance with those or accessing those or understanding those, again, ask the pros, ask your payroll department, ask your HR department. They are there to assist you and educate you and help you understand how your pay works. Okay. If you're unsure, please don't hesitate to reach out to someone. Okay.
Including this show.
Yep. And
you
that's
can
it.
reach out to us. We can reach out to us as well. We're glad to help out. We do not offer legal advice. Our advice is not legally binding. It is directionally correct, and it is for you to follow up with your work, your professionals at your job. We'll give you a little bit of information, make it dangerous, right? So you can go and ask the right questions, because that a lot of times it's just you don't know what question to ask. You know what I mean? Oh, my check looks wrong, but I don't know where I even start. And I've gotten better at it over the years. Gosh, we've been doing it so long that now I'm just like, okay, well, tell me what's different, right? I know you, because look, this is the most intimate thing that we touch is their pay and all kind of emotions. And this is our payroll is life, right? Pay is your life.
Have you ever wondered what really makes a generation tick? Who gets to pick the name? And why the slang keeps changing? Don't worry, I can help. My name's Dr. Megan Grace. On hashtag Gen Z, I share the voices and experiences of Generation Z, how they're different from other generations, what moves them, and why they do what they do. In each episode, we go beyond the buzzwords and the stereotypes to dive into real conversations and the insights that matter to making intergenerational collaboration a reality. You can catch hashtag Gen Z on the Work to Find podcast network and wherever you listen to podcasts.
So again, we want to give you the information you need. We want to arm you. We want to empower you with the right information to call up your payroll folk, call Walter on the other side and say, hey, Walt, I see this on my check, and boom, 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 and this is the code that I'm seeing. What's this? That's a huge help. Now Walt can zero right in and say, oh, you know what? We just updated the codes. It used to be this. Sorry, we updated it to this to be more descriptive. Oh man, that makes sense. Thank you. And that's it. And that's it. So again, reach out to the show. We're here for you guys. We love you.
All these tips. Remember, go. If you need to listen to this again on repeat, listen back.
Yep.
And also check out the show notes. There's going to be helpful things online on the site that are going to be helpful for you. You can review these things and stay tuned. This is for you. Again, this is about empowering the employee. We're going to have tons of exciting things coming down the pipeline for you. Yes. We're going to have shows on helping you potentially budget. We're going to have shows on helping you navigate. If you want to use Excel, maybe even have someone come on and help you with that. We're going to have so many things to help the employee. This is about you.
Yes. Thank you. Well, you made me think. I thought about so many things as we went through this. Oh man, that'd be great for another show. That'd be great for another show because it does get complicated. And put it this way, we are going to be your first line defense, your first step into financial wellness.
Yep.
Because where does it start? We're huge advocates of financial wellness. And where does it start? With your paycheck. That's the first place it starts, right?
It starts with knowledge, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts with knowledge, and then if you have understanding, which is why we're doing this, and then if you apply that knowledge to your check, boom.
Yep. So stay tuned. Tell a friend, please. Anybody, just put them onto the show. Get better. We're going to learn what's in your check. We're going to learn the compliance. We're going to learn legalities, all that good stuff.
Tell your cousin and them about it.
Yep. Tell your mom and them. Tell your cousin and them. Tell Junebug. Tell Tyler. Tell Blake. All of them. Juan.
Tell that cousins that's in the armed service. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
In any industry, this is for you.
This is for you. And by the way, folks, Walter actually processed payroll in the Navy on an aircraft carrier. So those of you who are veterans or in the service listening to this, we got you covered, folks. Family, we got you covered. We got your veteran brothers here. I am a non-veteran, so I did not go to, you know what I'm saying? We are two halves of the same coin. We got it all covered for you. We have all kind of influence in the pros, our network that we're gonna pull in. Man, I got so many ideas as financial wellness, but I love the way we're not gonna get too crazy, right? There's plenty of that out there. You want to invest? Go ahead, go and invest. What we're gonna reiterate is that you should, in fact, invest
in
yourself, in the finances, all that, and it starts right here. Paycheck and knowledge. How do I leverage this? All that. We got to cut it short. Listen to the next one. Get on there. Stop playing. We got it. We got you. We got y'all, folks. Thank you for joining us today, and look out for the next show.
Yeah, look out. All right.
Peace. Love you.
Peace.